Hello, Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising, and welcome to May. It's a month of more changes. We start off the month with all planets direct, other than Pluto and Aquarius, which will go retrograde on May 5th, but is now here to stay and will not go back into Capricorn in our lifetimes. Mercury is out of shadow, and Venus is out of shadow by the 26th of May in Aries, right when Saturn moves in, along with a newly entered Neptune in Aries, which Neptune will stay in Aries for 14 years with a brief retrograde back into Pisces, and then will settle back into Aries by next January. Saturn will remain in Aries from May 26th until April 13th, 2028, so roughly around 3 years. However, the next few weeks will just be Saturn dipping its toe into this new energy, and then Saturn too will retrograde July 14th this summer to finish up some kind of story or remaining business in your Pisces 10th house before coming back into your sign on November 28th, 2025 again to stay until April 2028. Don't worry about all these dates. I'm going to write them down for you in the description box down below. Saturn naturally rules your 8th house and the 9th as Aquarius' ancient ruler. And with the ruler of the 8th and 9th going into the 11th. Oops, I'm sorry, I might have made a mistake. Let me pause. Okay, we're good. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't making a mistake there. Okay. With Saturn naturally rules your 8th house and the 9th as Aquarius' ancient ruler. With the ruler of the 8th and 9th going into the 11th, you could be the one initiating changes with regard to your dreams, your friends, the types of social events that you attend, your social circles and groups. With Saturn here, you may choose to restrict the types of groups that have access to you, like eliminating a social media account to opt for a smaller, more exclusive one, say a private Facebook group in which you are a part of a spiritual learning, maybe an astrology course or a select group. Maybe you will be the one. Maybe you will be the one to teach via internet groups or in such fashion, as Saturn is the teacher. And since he rules the house of religion, philosophy, and higher education and belief systems, you could literally be taking teachings or a course of study that you have completed. This may even be a master's course that you completed, and now you are the one to disseminate the information and knowledge, especially because the 8th house becomes prominent when we have its ruler going into the 11th. And this could show us how we can bring in chunky money as well, as both the 11th house and the 8th are houses of gain, but usually in lump sums and in different fashion. Like the 11th is, it could be a lottery windfall. The 8th house, not so much a lotto windfall, but you can see royalties, payouts, tax rebates, inheritance money, lump sums that come in that way, or even from legal settlements and whatnot, although that might be more 9th house. But anyway, the 10th house is where Saturn has been for the past 3 years. Could have seen you make career progress or achieve something in the career realm, and now the reward can come in through that 11th house. For an example, like let's say you were working on getting promoted or attempting to secure a new job for the past 3 years, and now as Saturn leaves the 10th and you put some kind of hard work in up there, the reward can come in now through the 11th house of big gains, or, a lucrative new job opportunity, or work that you have been doing starts to pay off now and can bring in tangible resources. As an example, you will become more disciplined about your goals and figuring out how to attain them, and not afraid to put in the work with Saturn moving into the house of our dreams and trining powerhouse, make it happen Pluto sitting over there in your 9th. Another way this can play out is that you're taking your 9th house teachings, such as a philosophy or religion, and teach what you know to a large group of people, maybe via the internet, as the 11th house represents technology and the internet. It could also be information you have accumulated from travels, as the 9th is a travel and higher education house, and connected with education a lot of times because of our exposure to exposure to different cultures via our travels. The social causes you believe in will also become very important, and you may even narrow them down or become more serious about one in particular, such as an environmental cause or movement to help marginalized people, as an example. You can become quite serious about building something with a small group of individuals, friends, groups, And you may be the one leading the pack, as Saturn is the sovereign who hands out the instructions, not the other way around. Maybe it's a business that you're trying to build. And this would also explain that reason why you may not be focused on fifth house matters as much over the next 3 years. Saturn in the 11th looks directly down at the fifth house. It could also be that you're spending the next 3 years working on a big dream or creative project that will require the isolation, dedication, and hard work that Saturn almost always asks of us to achieve anything of importance. I don't think this will be so difficult for you, though, and I think you might even enjoy this work that you'll be putting into that 11th house dream goal area, because Saturn and Neptune and Aries will be making a sextile of ease to your sun, moon, or ascendant. Sun represents career, father figures, our vitality and self-expression. Moon is our emotional world. It's more internal. And then our ascendant is your physical body. And that's where astrologers are usually casting our predictions from. So we go from the first house. Pluto in Aquarius from your ninth will be trining you. And Uranus, who is at the door of your early degree first house. Uranus will move in briefly this summer on July 7th, and then will retrograde back out to finish up some kind of business in your Taurus 12th house. And then we'll come back onto your ascendant for roughly about 7 years. So there will be this outer planet flow of easy transitions, transformations, hard work that you're putting in to produce something tangible, but hard work you might even enjoy. To produce something tangible in relationship to like a big goal or dream of yours. Your thought systems and long-held beliefs can be changing in a different way as well. Also, the way that you earn money can change as Pluto rules your sixth house of everyday work and goes into the ninth. And so that can look like earning money in a different or unusual way, like through publishing now, or through an internet business, or through broadcasting. Uranus rules the internet and your ninth house and will be entering your first, showing that you're the one initiating these changes, but also you doing something unique in the way of making money from the traditional way, but like with a twist, during this transit, or you're doing it differently than you would have before this transit begins. Hopefully I didn't just confuse myself there. This will be felt most for early degree Geminis from around 0 to 5 or 0 to 6 degrees, felt the strongest right now. The rest will feel this later as Uranus starts moving through the rest of the degrees of your sign. Gemini will emerge over the next few years changed for sure, after hosting Saturn in the 11th and having Uranus firmly in your sign by then. You'll be striving for more freedom in your life if you had ever felt held back before or from a partner. If you're in a restrictive relationship, you have Uranus in the first looking over at the 7th, and Uranus is the great liberator, so that can happen. You can also meet love suddenly too. You can be traveling more over the next several years. And again, your beliefs from childhood could be challenged and changed here due to this transit, or even because of a transformative teacher that you encounter or a guru, especially if you had like self-limiting thoughts or even behavior patterns that had held you back or kept you stuck. You will free yourself with Uranus transiting your first and being trined by transformational Pluto. Absolutely. You may become the change agent yourself within your family or your community. You are the sign of community along with Aquarius, and then especially so with Uranus moving on to your sign. Your intuition as well can become more developed during this transit, and your personal power and charisma will also be coming to the fore over the next few years as well, Gemini. So I rather like this transit for you. I'm kind of excited for it myself. So take care, and we'll see you in June.